Hi. So welcome to a special edition of That's a Good Cup of Joe. As you know, the Trump presidency has been riddled with all kinds of crazy nonsense. And it's really hard to filter because there's just so much of it. But the thing that I really believe we need to get our hands around is the fact that everything that he's doing to dismantle what it is we got here in this country. And I think that was the whole plan, because Project 2025 is real, America. It is happening now. And you would think that because he has the Constitution sitting on his wall in the Oval Office to be displayed, because he says it's a beautiful thing, because he can't even articulate exactly what the Constitution means. And when he does, it's all a bunch of word salad with mites in it, and it's just simply ridiculous. But he has no clue. He does not understand it. And the fact that he can say that he doesn't know if he can uphold it or he should uphold it as the president, that's the job. That is the job, looking out for the American people and doing what you have to do to secure this country, to make sure the people are getting what's due to them, that they feel protected, that they can go out and buy groceries and all kinds of things, and feel not afraid to walk outside because of perhaps having masked stormtroopers come out and take them. Because that's who we are. And in regards to the immigration, the Homeland Security, having their stormtroopers going out there and removing people, I'm all for an orderly immigration system, because we do need that. And the fact that we haven't been able to update that in the Congress because politicians rather have it as a political volleyball and spike it and say, we got you. That's not how it should happen. Politicians should be out there doing their best to keep things functioning and moving. Because right now, they're looking to argue about birthright citizenship and whether migrants and people who cross the border illegally, as they claim, their children, should they be bestowed upon birthright citizenship because they're born here, because it's stated in the Constitution. So they're trying to strip that ability away. And with Stephen Miller out there discussing habeas corpus, and so that due process can't happen, if they are able to do this with the Supreme Court and get the due process eliminated for migrants, how far is it that they take it to the next step? That they're able to determine that they can move American citizens out. And I don't mean just the ones with the Spanish sounding names. I'm talking about real Americans born here with regular Joe names, because they don't agree with their policies, because they speak bad about them, they talk against them, they disagree with the fact that he's getting a $400 million airplane. Go figure. What the hell is that? But that's what Donald Trump does. He's a grifter. He's a salesman. And he's able to word salad his way into the hearts of those that listen to him. Those who always have grievances against people and things and institutions. In order to make this democracy work, we have to be engaged. We have to have the ability to push aside certain things in our private lives and listen to what people are saying, to understand what they're saying. and make those choices so that we can do what we need to do to secure our own country. No one's going to save us in this situation other than us. And that's what we need to do. And again, do we support and have the ability to protect and defend the Constitution? Every American, every nationalized citizen, every dreamer should be able to do a resounding and heartfelt and emphatic, yes, I will protect the Constitution from those who wish to violate it. So, in regards to doing that, I think it's been a long time since any one of us has actually read it, right? And that's what I think we need to do. But I think it's important for us to really look at the entire makeup of what the Constitution is, because there are different parts of it, right? There is the Constitution. This is my book. Okay, my book, the Constitution. It's here. I got it. And what I would like to do is for us to look at it. Take some time and look through this. So I'm asking you to come with me. And we're going to read through the Constitution so that we can remember how important this is. And I get it. I get it. It was written during a time of slavery, and a lot of shit was happening over the last 250 years. But from where we were to where we are now, a lot went into it to try to discourage the citizens of this country from actually engaging in the debates and the ability to make sure that we are making the conscientious decision to keep our government and our democracy functioning. So, we're going to go on this journey together and read through the Constitution. And we're going to take it piece by piece, because I know everybody's got things to do. So every day we're going to do a little more. And there's also going to be another component to this that is going to be very important. And that is understanding the Federalist Papers. And we're going to get into the Federalist Papers. So we're going to start with the Constitution. And the most important thing to set everything up, we're going to read through the Declaration of Independence. So join me, if you will. In Congress, July 4th, 1776. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving just powers from the consent of the governed. Then whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on which principles and organizing its powers in such forms as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness, Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established shall not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object in vices, a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present king of the Great Britain is the history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. Okay? Wow. If you read through some of that stuff, you would think that's happening now, right? Trump stormtroopers storming through the cities, ripping people from their houses and deporting them to places. You know, it's without due process. But let's continue. He has refused his assent to laws. Yeah, that's Donald Trump. The most wholesome in necessity for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be attained, and when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. I guess that could be Mar-a-Lago, but we'll continue. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with many firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time after such dissolutions to cause others to be elected. Hereby the legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise, and the state, remaining in the meantime exposed to all dangers of invasions from without and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states for the purpose of obstructing the laws of naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of land. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made justices depend on the will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount of payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislators. He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to subject us to the jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledgeable by other laws, given his assent of their acts of pretend legislation, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by a mock trial for punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with other parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in any cases of the benefits of trial by jury, by transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretend offenses, for abolishing the free system of English law in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government and enlarging its boundaries, so as to render it at once, for example, and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our government, by suspending our own legislators and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging a war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaging our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages, and totally unworthy of the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens, taken captive to the high seas to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrections among us, and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers and merciless Indian savages, whose known rules of warfare is an undistinguishable destruction of all age, sexes, and conditions. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned their redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant, is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been wanting in attention from our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts of their legislator to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our emigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and of consanguinity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation, and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemy in war, in peace friends. We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be free and independent states, and they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and with all political connections between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that of free and independent states they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliance, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of the right to do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protections of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortune, and our sacred honor. And there you go. The Declaration of Independence. right? No kings. No kings here. So that's what the 13 colonies did to break away from Great Britain, to declare their independence and to govern themselves. And you got to wonder, how would that fit here today? Of the feelings that we are having, the ability of our current government stripping away the means to help our fellow Americans, to give them support, give them resources to make sure that they can live their lives. There are those of strength, yes. There are those of means, yes. But there are those of us that could use our help and assistance. And isn't that what we're here for? That's what we do? We help each other? This is what the government of the people is supposed to do, to protect the citizens that live here. Not to hoard them, not to beat them down. Our history is so jaded. But we need to push through those things and always look for the better, to do better, to be better. What we got now is tyranny, which led to our breaking off from Britain. And I don't know about you, but reading through some of that stuff, it's kind of like history is repeating itself to some degree. So, with that being said, with that first piece being done, thank you for sitting with me. Because remembering what was said, which started it all, because this is the beginning, we now have to go to the end. And we need to be there together. So remember, an engaged citizenship. Every American citizen has the power to set the course for our nation. So, join me next time as we continue our pilgrimage through the Constitution of the United States, because next up, the Articles of the Confederation. Yes, there is the Articles of Confederation, which was established before our current Constitution was established. And Rand Paul, yeah, he likes to speak about the Confederation. Yes, he does. He brings it up quite a bit sometimes. So, thank you for joining me. And that's today's Good Cup of Joe.